Expert from local newspaper. Ominous unknown killer still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he had survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his tale. "I had a bad dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night," says the boy. "I saw that, for some reason, the window was open, even though I remember it was being closed before I went to bed. I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to go back to sleep. That's when I heard a strange feeling, like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in a little ray of light illuminating from between my curtains, was a pair of two eyes. Those weren't regular eyes. They were dark, ominous. They were boarding in black and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth. A long, horridous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever, he said it. A simple phrase, but it was enough. But it said in a way only a madman could speak. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He pulled out a knife and aimed at my heart. He jumped on the back of my bed, and I fought him back. I kicked and punched. I rolled around trying to knock him off of me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife and went into my dad's shoulders. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. They drove into a parking lot and ran towards the back door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash, like glass breaking, as it came out of my room. I saw the window was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out to see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing. I will never forget that face, those cold, evil eyes, and the psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. Police are still looking for this man. If you've seen anyone that fits this description in this story, please contact your local police department. Jeff and his family had just moved into the new neighborhood. His dad had gotten promotion at work, and they thought it would be a blast to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Lou couldn't complain though. A new, better home. What was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of the neighbors came by. "Hi," she said. "I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son." She turns around and calls her son over. "Billy, these are our new neighbors," Billy said. "Hi," and ran back to play in his yard. "Well," said Jeff's mom, "I'm Margaret. This is my husband, Peter. And these are our two sons, Lou and Jeff." They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to their son's birthday party. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love to. When Jeff and his family had done packing, Jeff went up to his mom. "Mom, why would you invite us to a kid's party? If you hadn't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid." "Jeff, we just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now we're going to that party, and that's that." Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he could not do anything. Whenever his mother said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and plopped down onto his bed. He sat there looking at the ceiling when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much as pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it as just some random feeling. He heard his mother call him downstairs to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get it. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and get ready for school. As he sat there eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. This time it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain, but he once again dismissed it. As he and Lou finished their breakfast, they walked downstairs to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus, and then all of a sudden, some kids on skateboards jumped over them, only inch above their laps. They both jumped back in surprise. "Hey, what the hell?" The kids lunged and turned back to them. He kicked his skateboard up and caught it in his hands. The kids seemed to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. He was wearing an Aeropostale shirt, ripped blue jeans. Well, what it looks like we got some new meat. Suddenly, two other kids appeared. One was super skinny and the other was huge. "Well, since you're new here, I'd like you to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith." Jeff and Lou looked over the skinny kid. He had a dopey face that would expect a sidekick to have. And this is Troy. They looked over at the fat kid. Talk about a tub of lard. This kid looked like he hadn't experienced since he was crawling. "And I," the first kid said, "I'm Randy. Now for all of the kids in the neighborhood, there is a small price for the bus here, if you catch my drift." Lou stood up ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eyes when one of the friends pulled a knife on him. "I had hoped you would do more cooperative, but it seems we must